for a long time, I had a really romantic idea of what it meant to be in a band signed to a label, and you know that. And now that I realize that it's not really that way.
You have really opened your eyes to how terrible it is.
Yeah.
There's no doubt that you hear these stories of these artists that, you know, they just have these freakouts, or they go off the road because of exhaustion, you know, things like that, to where it's, you know, it's maybe not what they wanted in the long run.
Well, and seeing you too, like being aware and being friends for as long as we've been friends, I know when you leave home, you know, you leave 2 little kids.
Yeah.
And with Emily and being away from them. And so, you know, it's just, I understand better now than I did 10 years ago when it's like, I want to be in a band, we're going to get signed, we're going to go on the road, and then money just starts pouring in.
Right.
And it's work. It really,
yeah.
You know, and in the limited bit of touring is we're driving across Wyoming in the middle of winter, and you know, you have white knuckles and you're scared to death you're going to go off the road any minute. Like sometimes it's a little, it's tough.
Yeah, you're like, why am I doing this?
Yeah, and then you think, well, you guys have basically been on the road for, 2 years?
Yeah.
So I think, you know, the kind of romantic idea of how this works for people went floating out the window a long time ago for me.
Yeah, and it's one of those things, like, I always get bugged when I hear people that, you know, they water down, you know, the idea of something that they've already achieved. You know what I mean? Like, you know, so for me to say, like, yeah, you know, it's nothing, you know, it's like, well, there's a lot of people out there that think that's something and would give anything, you know, to have those opportunities. And I think the person saying that would change their mind if it was all taken away. It's the same thing with bands that give away their records, because what it does for the rest of us is that it just, you know, devalues the you know, what a CD is, what an album is worth. And that's fine, like when you have, you know, millions of people already lined up, you know, to do that. You know, it is still a big deal, you know, for us to produce a record, and hoping that, you know, more and more people are going to listen to that. And it starts with, you know, man, you know, wow, like in a month, you know, we sold 100 CDs, and then it's, you know, the next thing you find out you're selling 10,000 a week, you know, and it builds up and up, you know, just having that opportunity to play and to share it with someone, whether it's, you know, 10,000 people or 10 people.
Right.
I think that's really what it comes down to. And I think for us, you know, being a band that is, you know, that does get some spotlight and, you know, some radio play, to me, when a song that I love, like, comes on the radio, that to me, it's like, I think, like, I love this, and I know that there's like a gazillion people out there right now, like, feeling that same thing. And it's this really weird thing that I've been analyzing about myself lately, that if I put on my iPod, sometimes I feel so lonely, like, listening to these songs, like, no one else can feel what I'm feeling, and no one else is like, how come no one else is hearing this right now? But when it's on the radio, like, I just feel like this sense of you know, that there's so many other people out there. And I think it's like what you were saying, that, you know, people will come to you after a show. And I don't think that devalues, you know, whether it's like anyone here amongst us, you know, that is, you know, doing other work besides music, that makes it, like, doesn't make Neon Trees music more important, or, you know, or better. Dustin was actually, for me, my reintroduction to playing in a rock band, because I was playing, you know, a lot of blues and, you know, a lot of bluegrass and stuff. I went through this kind of anti-rock phase. I bought an upright bass, and, you know, Dustin let me be a part of Jerrytown, and, you know, got back into playing rock music and really getting into, you know, more of the expanding my relationships in the music scene. So yeah, it's funny, like, how you joked, like, before, like, you know, how could I leave, you know, how could I leave you guys? But it's like you guys were, you know, just great stepping stones, you know, just a little higher than everyone else's stepping stones.
If that's one thing we've always been good at, it's stepping stones.
Yeah,
It was interesting when I came to see you play a couple weeks ago. you guys have, from our perspective, you guys have played some really big shows, really big venues, and with some really cool bands that we admire the hell out of. And when I went there and afterwards, as I watched, like these little packs of girls being like, let's go over and talk. And, of course you're, being who you are, you were so gracious and you talk to everybody. And then, we eventually start talking and it's my old friend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you kind of, you would have every right to be a dick, you know what I mean? And it was really cool to see my friend. It's great to see you guys, doing a thing that I know a lot of people would really, love to see themselves doing. So
Yeah, well, dude, I'm glad to have I call it the musical heritage, playing with you guys. And I think with all musical relationships that it's, speaking that the musical language, that it helps you, have like lasting relationships, and because it is something that not everyone can do or be interested in. And when you think about it, it's like, it's maybe been ages since I've got to play directly with any of you guys, but it's like we're still like constantly in touch.
Yeah.
Even if it's just, short messages here and there, that it's still something. But I think it just goes to show like the depth of music, and like I said, just knowing that someone else out there, it's like, gets it.